Hi, it's Yvonne from Mini Treats, Texas, and I'm bringing you a white chocolate chip crushed candy cane recipe that you can use for Santa Claus instead of the basic chocolate chip recipe, and then we'll add a little pizzazz at the end, okay? So here I am adding 1 full cup of, I had compacted and measured it out, of brown sugar. And then I will also add a 1/2 cup of white granulated sugar. I don't know where I went with that. And then I came back. And then you're just going to mix this together. And the special ingredient is brown butter. So I brown this butter for, it takes, I think, about 3 or 4 minutes just to make sure it doesn't burn. And it's 2 sticks of butter. And you want to make sure that you allow that butter to cool before you add it. Because if you do add it warm, of course, it's going to melt all the sugars. And we really don't want a soupy mix. So there I'm just combining the sugars as well as the cooled down brown butter. And then after that, I'll add 2 eggs. So 2 large eggs. Here you see me cracking them in there. And it's the whole egg. And then you're just going to mix it in. And you don't. So like I said, here I'm just combining the eggs and the sugar and then just making sure they're well combined. You don't need a stand mixer to make this recipe. You need a whisk and a little bit of muscle power. So now I'm adding my dry ingredients, which are 2 cups of flour, 3 teaspoons of cornstarch, and then 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Okay? And then I'll start with my muscle power, and instead of using, if you do use the, I don't know what I'm doing right there, but if you do use a stand mixer, use the paddle attachment, not the whisk. But here we're going to, for mixing purposes, I'm going to use the whisk with my hand in the bowl. And this is just so I don't have to break out my mixer every time. I don't like to wash dishes all the time. You just got to make sure it's well incorporated, that you're not over mixing, which it's kind of hard, honestly. That dough isn't super, it's pretty thick, but it's not unbearably hard where you feel like you're getting carpal tunnel. But like I said, you're going to fully mix that in. And if it's in a stand mixer, this goes by so much quicker. I just don't want to bring it out. So now I'm repurposing some candy canes because, of course, everybody doesn't eat all those candy canes that either go on a tree or you get as a gift. Just crush them up with the, that's one of my meat mallets inside of a Ziploc bag. You want to crush them up to small bite-sized pieces, not into crumb dust, but sometimes you go there. And then I believe at one point I end up flipping the bag over. You'll see it here in just a second, because when I picked it up, I saw that there are a whole bunch of bigger pieces on the other side, and I just wanted to crush it up a little bit more finely. There's some big and little small pieces, and we're going to use most of this within our mix of the cookies, and then you're going to save probably like 1/3 of it to go on top of the cookies. So this is about a cup of white chocolate chips. I like using Ghirardelli brand. And then, like I said, use almost most of the crushed peppermint. Actually, do whatever your soul desires. And y'all, also, I forgot to show you guys, I had added vanilla extract. So a tablespoon of vanilla extract also when you're doing your wet mix. So here I'm just folding in. See, can you smell that? It smells so good at this point. I'm folding in the chocolate chips and also the peppermint, the crushed peppermint. So you want to get that good and folded in. You don't want to overmix at this point. That cookie dough that we made at the beginning, it is a good base for any type of topping. So you could eat, this would also taste great if you added macadamia nuts. I just didn't have any on hand, or I probably would, because a little bit of nutty flavor. And also make sure you put a teaspoon of salt. I use kosher salt. You can use sea salt, whatever you like. But you do need the saltiness to kind of counteract and balance the sweetness, because there's a lot of sugary components in this dessert. So here I'm just, like I said, mixing until my heart is content. Just don't over mix, because you don't want to make your cookies tough. Now I'm just taking my my ice cream scoop so I can evenly measure out the cookies. So you'll see, notice I was having fun with the camera. And I think I got about 6 on there because they do spread. They're not like sugar cookies, so they're going to spread a little bit. So I got 6 on here, and I want to say I was able to cook like 1, 2, 6, 12, 15 batches. These scoops aren't that big. You can make them bigger if you like. And then also, to make your cookies, I don't know if people notice, like when you see baker's cookies and they come out and you see all the toppings on top, that's because before they put them in the oven, before, not after, press some more chocolate chips and a couple of bits of the crushed peppermint on top of the cookie before you put it in the oven. And then when you put it in the oven at 350 degrees, and I believe mine were baking, I say give them 13 minutes. It might vary 10 to 13 depending on your oven. I have a gas oven that heats pretty well, or pretty evenly all the way through. And like I said, pressing those toppings on top will allow them to show up at post and they don't look all mixed in. So here I'm showing you, I have some candy melts. This is also Ghirardelli, the dark chocolate candy melts. And I'm just going to take them and cover the bottom portion of some of those cookies once they're done. Now, I didn't do all of them because I have picky and eaters sometimes, and sometimes too much sugar they don't like. So I only did half of them like that. Santa Claus will like them probably either way. And then once I cover them up, I lay them on parchment paper and just let it dry. You'll see here I'm going to demonstrate how I did that again. I decided too that just put it on the front half. You don't need to wrap the chocolate all the way around. If you just smear it like so. Here I think I still smeared it on the back, but I mean, you can do you. If you want more chocolate, you want more chocolate. But I think it would be fine if you just put it on the front. Or even if you just drizzled some chocolate on the top. And here's the finished cookie without the chocolate. And then here are my lovely deluxe versions. Those are my favorite. And I'll see you later. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.